Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to my channel. So if you've got some money sitting in the bank, it's probably losing value, okay, it's losing a lot of value. If your motive for keeping the money there is to provide some kind of stability in your life or to meet some short-term needs, then that's fine. But if you really want to build wealth, you really want to grow wealth, the bank is not the best place to keep your money, okay? You keep this your money in the banks and they promise you between 5 to 20% interest on your investment per annum. When you can actually, get over 40% interest on your money in other sectors in a shorter period. Okay. Even this money, if you put your money, if you send your money to the banks, the money that don't sit there idle. They actually take the money, invest in other things, invest in people with businesses, invest in people's businesses, and those people bring the money back with interest, and then they give you a small portion of the interest, and you're happy. Well, you may be keeping money there because maybe perhaps you don't have any viable business now, or you don't have any business plan, you don't have any business now to invest your money in. But what if I told you that there are other smarter ways to actually grow wealth? Yes. So in today's video, I'll be sharing um, some two sure ways, two tried and tested ways that one can actually grow wealth. Okay. Um, One will be through land banking, land banking, and one will be through agriculture. Okay. So when we say land banking, what does that mean? What do we mean by land banking? So land banking simply means um, acquiring lands or buying lands now at areas that development is expected in the future. Okay, so you buy the land, you hold it for some time, and then when the value of the land appreciates, when the land appreciates in value, you sell it at a higher price. Okay, um, so for example, in some parts of Accra, some years ago, lands were very cheap in some areas. Okay, but now, in those same areas, the lands are quoted in dollars. Okay, the lands are quoted in dollars. A typical example is in Chado. Chado is an area in Accra. Some years back, lands were not expensive there, but now the lands are in dollars. Okay, they are quoted in dollars. So imagine you had about maybe you had some plots of lands there in those days. Now you would have become a billionaire. You would have become a billionaire by now. Also, in Amasamai is a place in Accra, it's an area in Accra. Some years ago, a plot of land in a particular area was around 8,000 cities. In that same area today, the land in that area is about 90,000, over 90,000 cities. So you see, that's land banking. That's the power of land banking. Okay. So why keep your money in the bank when you can invest in this kind of things, store your value, store your money in this kind of things. Yeah. Well, so another way is through agriculture. Agriculture is one of the most oldest, one of the oldest, most profitable, and one of the most misunderstood, ways of actually growing wealth. Okay, so when it comes to the agriculture value chain, there are tons and tons of ways, millions of ways that one can actually, grow his or her money. Okay, one of the ways is through acquiring farmlands. Yes, acquiring farmlands. So you can acquire farmlands, um, and you can acquire farmlands and lease it out to farmers, and you'll be getting returns on it every season. Another way is to you can also farm on the farmlands. You can cultivate the farmland, put the farmland into good use. I mean, um, plant plant vegetables on it. Plant things on it. I've got a friend who makes 50,000 cities. Okay, net profit 50,000 cities from an acre of pepper farms in a season. That's 6 months. In 6 months. Okay, so assuming you have about 100 acres of farmland and you cultivate pepper on all the 100 acres, 50,000 times 100 is what? If my calculation is right, it's about 1 million Ghana cedis. Okay, 1 million Ghana cedis. Banks cannot give you this kind of money. Banks cannot give you this kind of money. Okay, so if you don't have money to be land banking, and then acquiring farmlands, you can actually go and rent the land, maybe an acre or two, and cultivate on it, and farm on it. It's equally profitable, and lands are not expensive to rent. Even in our remote areas, in our villages, some lands are given for free. You can get some for free and farm on it and make some good money off it. I mean, so another way of in the same agricultural value chain, another way to actually grow your wealth is through um, livestock, investing in livestock, specifically in poultry farming. I mean poultry, the layers. Okay, it's an area that involves, I mean, huge capital, huge startup capital. Okay, but you can start small. You can start with 100 beds, 200 beds. I mean layers, 100, 200. So if you've got about, for example, if you've got about 200 layers, every month you should be making about 10,000 cities. That's gross profit. Okay, gross profit. You now have to come and deduct your cost of feeding and stuff from it. So at the end of the day, or at the end of the month, you'll be left with about 5,000 cities, or a little bit over 5,000 cities, and that's some good money. Okay, so you start small, and then you grow from there. You grow from there. You grow from there. You start from 200, you go to 500, you go to 1,000, 10,000, and by the time you realize, you become a billionaire. Okay, so in the same agricultural value chain, you can be a middleman, and what a middleman does is actually serves as a link between the farmer and the market. Okay, so you go take farm produce from the farmers, you take it to and then you take it to the market women. Okay, so you take from farmers at price X, you go and give it to the market women at X plus one price. So your profit is plus one. That's some good money. I mean, so in the same agricultural value chain, another way you can actually grow wealth is um, through processing and value addition. Okay, value addition and processing. So with that, let's for pepper example, let's take pepper for example. You take it from its raw original state to a powdered form. You package it nicely, neatly, and then you sell. There's a lot of money there. Okay, a lot of money. It's one area that I encourage whoever has the money to have a second look at. It's a very profitable area. Another way is through packaging and export. Packaging and export is self-explanatory. Packaging and export. So you package farm produce from the farmers and then you export it. Okay, but with that, there are certain requirements that you have to meet. Okay, there are some standards that you have to meet. If you don't meet those standards, those requirements, your consignments will be rejected or returned back. Okay, so these are some ways that you can actually turn your money around. So why not go get money from the bank and then put it into something that can 40x, 50x your money in a shorter period? Why not? Well, so that will be the end of today's video. Kindly drop your comments in the comment section. I know some may not agree with me, but this is my mind. Like the video and subscribe. Okay, see you another time and stay safe.